Welcome to the open question. Have you ever wondered what the difference is between a cult and a religion? At first glance, they might seem worlds apart, but when you dig deeper, there are striking similarities, especially in their darker aspects. Before we get into it, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for more thought-provoking content. Let's get started. Number 10. Charismatic leadership and absolute authority. One of the most striking similarities between cults and religions is their reliance on a central figure who wields enormous power over followers. In cults, this is often a living charismatic leader. For example, Jim Jones, leader of the People's Temple, convinced his followers to abandon their families, relocate to a remote commune in Guyana, and ultimately participate in a mass suicide. Jones' followers saw him as infallible, and his word was law. Religions, too, often revolve around central figures, like prophets, saints, or clergy who claim divine authority. For instance, some televangelists like Joel Osteen and Benny Hinn have used their influence to amass fortunes, while pressuring followers to make financial sacrifices. This blind reverence for authority can create opportunities for exploitation and abuse. Number 9. Control over personal freedom. Both cults and religions often impose strict rules that govern personal behavior, relationships, and even thoughts. In cults, leaders frequently dictate every aspect of members' lives. The NX4TM cult, led by Keith Raniere, controlled members' diets, sleep schedules, and even personal relationships, with severe consequences for those who disobeyed. Religions also set rules that regulate personal freedoms. For example, in some conservative religious communities, women are required to dress modestly, avoid education, or refrain from working outside the home. In certain ultra-Orthodox sects, even questioning these rules can lead to excommunication or ostracism. Number 8. Fear-based tactics. Fear is a powerful tool that both cults and religions use to maintain loyalty and control. Cults often instill fear of punishment, whether it's by the leader, external enemies, or some form of divine retribution. For example, former members of Scientology have reported being stalked, harassed, and labeled as suppressive persons for leaving or criticizing the organization. Religions, too, rely on fear to reinforce obedience. The concept of eternal damnation in Christianity or similar beliefs in other religions can create deep psychological distress. The fear of divine punishment often discourages questioning or leaving the faith, even when someone disagrees with its teachings. Number 7. Financial exploitation. Money is another area where cults and religions often intersect in negative ways. Cults frequently demand financial sacrifices from their members. For example, members of the Unification Church, commonly known as the Moonies, were pressured to donate their life savings and work unpaid for the church. Religions are also no strangers to financial exploitation. Many televangelists preach the prosperity gospel, claiming that donating money to their ministry will bring blessings, wealth, and health. The lavish lifestyles of some religious leaders, funded by donations from low-income followers, raise serious ethical concerns. Number 6. Suppression of critical thinking. Both cults and religions discourage questioning their teachings or authority. In cults, dissent is often met with immediate consequences. For example, in the Rajneesh movement, followers who questioned the leader or left the group were often shunned, harassed, or labeled as traitors. Religions may frame critical thinking as doubt or sin. For instance, questioning the literal truth of Holy Scriptures in some religious communities can result in social ostracism, denial of sacraments, or even accusations of blasphemy. This stifles intellectual freedom and fosters an environment of blind obedience. Number 5. Us versus them mentality. Both cults and religions create a clear division between insiders and outsiders. often portraying the latter as dangerous, misguided, or inferior. Cults thrive on isolation, cutting off members from their families and the outside world. For example, Heaven's Gate followers were taught to see outsiders as spiritually inferior, leading to complete social isolation before their tragic mass suicide in 1997. Religions also cultivate an us versus them dynamic. In some fundamentalist religious groups, non-believers are seen as immoral or even condemned to eternal punishment. This mindset can fuel prejudice, discrimination, and in extreme cases, violence. Number 4. Emotional manipulation and guilt. Both systems use emotional tactics to keep members loyal and compliant. Cults often exploit guilt, making members feel they are failing the group or leader if they don't fully comply. For example, members of the Children of God cult were shamed into participating in exploitative practices under the guise of pleasing God. Religions also use guilt to enforce conformity. The concept of original sin in Christianity, for instance, teaches that people are inherently flawed and in need of constant repentance and redemption. This can lead to feelings of unworthiness and dependence on religious authority for absolution. Number 3. Secrecy and lack of transparency. Both cults and religions often operate with a degree of secrecy, shielding their inner workings from outsiders. Cults like Scientology and NX4TM have secretive hierarchies, only revealing their core teachings to members who have invested significant time and money. This secrecy protects the leadership from scrutiny and makes it harder for members to leave. Religions, too, can be opaque. For instance, the Catholic Church faced global scandals for covering up child abuse cases for decades, protecting perpetrators instead of victims. This lack of accountability undermines trust and enables abuse of power. Number 2. Promises of ultimate salvation or enlightenment. Both cults and religions promise some form of ultimate reward, whether it's salvation, enlightenment, or eternal life. Cults often use these promises to justify extreme sacrifices. For example, the Branch Davidians, led by David Koresh, were convinced they would achieve divine salvation, which led to their tragic demise in Waco, Texas. Religions similarly emphasize rewards in the afterlife, which can encourage people to endure suffering or sacrifice in this life. This promise, while comforting to some, can also be used to manipulate followers into compliance. Number 1. Exploitation of vulnerable people. Finally, both cults and religions tend to attract people during times of crisis or vulnerability. Cults actively recruit those who are lonely, grieving, or seeking purpose. For example, the infamous Manson family preyed on individuals with troubled pasts, offering them a sense of family and belonging. Religions also attract vulnerable individuals, offering comfort during life's hardest moments. While this can be positive, it also creates opportunities for exploitation, as seen in cases where people are pressured into giving money or devoting their lives to the group. If this video made you think twice about the similarities between cults and religions, give it a like and share it with others who might find it interesting. We'd love to hear your thoughts. Drop a comment below and let us know what you think. Also, if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe for more interesting discussions on complex topics. Thanks for watching.